All right, settle in. Perhaps pour yourself a dram of something reflective. We're about to embark on a journey into a corner of progressive rock that remains, paradoxically, both revered by aficionados and stubbornly obscure to many. We're going to delve into the labyrinthine wonders of Gentle Giant, specifically their fourth album, Octopus, released in 1972. If your musical world revolves comfortably around the flutes and intricate narratives of Jethro Tull, a band whose own blend of folk, jazz, and rock complexity shares a certain adventurous spirit with our subject today, then prepare to expand your horizons. Gentle Giant represents a peak of intricate intellectual rock music, a challenge and a delight in equal measure. Imagine music that is less a collection of songs and more a meticulously constructed architectural marvel, built with sonic blueprints drawn from centuries of musical tradition, yet powered by the raw energy of early 70s rock. This is the realm of Octopus, an album that doesn't reveal its secrets easily, but rewards the persistent listener with profound insights into the possibilities of rock music. Before we immerse ourselves in the secret history, the hidden depths, and the critical paradox surrounding Octopus, if you find this kind of deep dive into classic progressive rock fascinating, a quick favor, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps us continue uncovering these forgotten or misunderstood gems for fellow enthusiasts like you. Your support allows this exploration to flourish, bringing these incredible sounds to a wider audience deserving of their discovery. Gentle Giant emerged from the ashes of a pop-soul outfit called Simon Dupree and the Big Sound, founded by the three Shulman brothers, Derek, Ray, and Phil. Dissatisfied with the constraints of commercial pop music's formulaic approach, they yearned for a vehicle for their far more ambitious musical ideas, which drew inspiration from a vast palette, stretching from classical and medieval music to blues, jazz, and contemporary avant-garde sounds. Joined by multi-instrumentalist Kerry Meniere, guitarist Gary Green, and drummer Martin Smith, soon to be replaced by John Weathers, they formed Gentle Giant in 1970. Their initial albums, the self-titled debut, Acquiring the Taste, and Three Friends, showcased a rapid evolution. They were already charting a unique course, eschewing the dominant blues rock foundation of many contemporaries or the burgeoning symphonic grandeur favored by others. Instead, they focused on intricate, interlocking musical lines, a dense weave of instruments and voices that demanded high levels of technical proficiency and compositional ingenuity. This early period saw the band hone their distinct musical language. Ray Shulman and Kerry Meniere, in particular, became the primary compositional forces, bringing formal musical training and a deep understanding of complex structures like fugues and canons to the rock format. Phil Shulman's background in jazz and classical wind instruments, coupled with the band members' collective multi-instrumentalism, it wasn't uncommon for a single member to play several different instruments on one track, allowed for an unparalleled diversity of sonic textures. Gary Green provided a dynamic range on guitar, from delicate acoustics to searing electric leads, while the drumming, first by Martin Smith and then definitively by John Weathers for Octopus onwards, provided a rhythmically inventive and precise backbone capable of handling frequent time signature changes and complex syncopation. This collective skill set and shared artistic vision set them apart from the outset. Octopus, then, arrived in 1972, a year often considered a high watermark for classic progressive rock. While bands like Yes, Genesis, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer were achieving widespread popularity with their own brands of expansive, often classically inflected rock, Gentle Giant offered something different, a more compact, intensely focused, and intellectually rigorous form of progression. The album's title, famously suggested by Ringo Starr based on its 8 tracks, like the 8 distinct limbs of an octopus, each individual, yet fundamentally connected to a central body, perfectly encapsulates the album's structure. Each track is a self-contained musical world, yet they collectively form a cohesive, if multifaceted, artistic statement. The album's artwork further reflected this duality. The UK version featured Roger Dean's iconic fantastical imagery, while the US release showcased a more abstract, fragmented piece by a Spanish artist, hinting at the complex, almost fractured nature of the music within. The secret history of Octopus isn't a story found in sensationalized rock biographies. It's a narrative etched into the experience of listening to the album itself and its subsequent life among dedicated music lovers. The secret lies in the music's refusal to compromise its artistic principles for wider accessibility. Gentle Giant operated on the fundamental principle of counterpoint, creating music where multiple independent melodic lines weave and interact simultaneously, rather than a single dominant melody supported by chord progressions. This requires every musician to be a lead player in effect, and it demands an actively engaged listener capable of following several threads at once. Octopus represents perhaps the most brilliant and uncompromising application of this philosophy in their discography. It is a dense, meticulously constructed sonic environment that reveals more layers and connections with every repeated listen, turning the act of passive hearing into an active exploration. Take the album's opening track, The Advent of Panurge. Immediately, Gentle Giant signals that this is not typical rock fare. Based on characters from Rabelais' sprawling satirical novels, the music mirrors the chaotic, multifaceted, and often bawdy nature of its literary source. It doesn't ease you in. It throws you into the deep end with a bold, angular theme that quickly fractures into disparate instrumental lines, violin sparring with guitar, keyboards weaving intricate patterns, horns interjecting dissonant phrases, all underpinned by a restlessly shifting rhythm section. The vocal harmonies are equally complex, delivered with a blend of precise arrangement and raw energy. There are moments of almost academic rigor, sudden dynamic leaps, and disorienting changes in tempo and meter that constantly challenge the listener's expectations. It's not an anthem. It's a musical tapestry woven with countless fine threads, demanding attention and patience, but delivering exhilarating intellectual and sonic rewards. Unlike many progressive rock epics that rely on broad, sweeping melodic statements, Panurge is built from a multitude of small, perfectly formed interlocking pieces, a kind of musical clockwork mechanism that is as fascinating in its internal workings as it is in its overall effect. Following the intense opening, Raconteur Troubadour transports the listener to a different era entirely, steeped in medieval influence. This track beautifully showcases the band's seamless integration of non-rock instruments and historical musical forms. Recorder and crumhorn lines intertwine with acoustic guitar arpeggios and the standard rock instrumentation, creating a rich, archaic texture. The vocal harmonies are particularly evocative here, delivered in a semi-choral contrapuntal style that immediately brings to mind the tales of medieval troubadours and the refined courts of the Renaissance. This wasn't mere pastiche or superficial ornamentation. It was a genuine attempt to synthesize these older forms of music with contemporary rock sensibilities, creating something entirely new. The track is relatively brief, another characteristic Gentle Giant trait. They possessed a remarkable ability to pack an immense amount of musical information and structural complexity into concise formats, avoiding the extended, sometimes meandering passages that could affect other prog bands. Every note, every transition feels deliberate and essential, contributing to the album's overall density and curated beauty. A Cry for Everyone injects a necessary dose of raw, gritty energy into the album's diverse palette, demonstrating Gentle Giant's ability to pivot between styles. This track leans into a heavier, almost R&B-infused rock sound, driven by a powerful, syncopated rhythm section and featuring searing, distorted guitar work from Gary Green. Derek Schulman delivers a particularly strong, impassioned vocal performance here, showcasing his range and versatility. While perhaps more rhythmically straightforward than some of the album's more labyrinthine pieces, the track still retains the Gentle Giant stamp through its sophisticated harmonic movement and the intricate interplay between instruments. It serves as a vital dynamic contrast within the album's sequence, proving that the band could rock out convincingly while still maintaining their unique musical identity and compositional intelligence. It's a reminder that their complexity wasn't solely about quiet intricacies. It could also power a driving, forceful rock song. Then there is Knots. This track stands as a quintessential example of Gentle Giant's unique approach to vocals and their willingness to push boundaries to their extreme. It is based on a fragment from R.D. Laing's book of philosophical poetry, Prose Knots, which explores complex, often paradoxical and disorienting human relationships and communication patterns. The music mirrors this thematic fragmentation and difficulty. Knots is sung by Derek, Phil, and Carrie, not in conventional harmony, but with each vocalist pursuing their own independent melodic line, often simultaneously, over minimal, sparse instrumental backing primarily provided by Ray Schulman's bass and subtle percussion. Listening to Knots is perhaps the most challenging moment on the album. It is the musical equivalent of trying to follow three distinct, interweaving conversations at once. It requires immense concentration and repeated listens to even begin to untangle the separate vocal threads and appreciate the astonishing skill involved in both its composition and execution. This is the point of tension and challenge inherent in Octopus. It confronts the listener directly with the limits of processing multiple independent musical ideas, demanding a level of engagement rarely asked by popular music. It is undoubtedly difficult, but for those willing to invest the mental energy, it is an unparalleled display of polyphonic vocal arrangement and a powerful musical representation of complex human dynamics. Following the intense intellectual workout of Knots, the instrumental track The Boys in the Band provides a breathtaking showcase for the sheer technical virtuosity of the musicians in an ensemble context. Built around a complex series of interlocking rhythmic patterns and melodic figures, this piece draws heavily on the precision and improvisational feel of jazz fusion, a style blossoming concurrently in the early 70s. Each member of the band gets moments to demonstrate their exceptional skill, not in conventional soloing where one instrument takes center stage, but through their contribution to the overall intricate texture. John Weather's drumming is particularly stunning here, navigating the frequently shifting time signatures and complex syncopations with both absolute precision and a remarkable sense of swing. Gary Green's guitar lines weave deftly and rapidly through the dense tapestry of Ray Schulman's nimble basswork and Kerry Minier's kaleidoscopic keyboard textures, creating a tightly integrated, almost telepathic ensemble sound that is exhilarating in its speed and accuracy. It is music that demands not just individual technical proficiency, but a profound shared musical understanding and responsiveness between the players. Shifting gears once more, Dog's Life offers a brief moment of charming, almost pastoral, respite. This short, whimsical piece features acoustic guitar as the primary instrument, layered with multi-tracked vocals delivered with a lighter, more conversational tone than heard elsewhere on the album. Its simple, melancholic melody and understated arrangement provide a necessary dynamic and emotional contrast within the album's often dense and complex structure. It showcases another facet of Gentle Giant's versatility, their ability to craft miniature, emotionally resonant pieces alongside their larger, more intricate works. It's a moment of relative calm before the album moves toward its conclusion. Then comes Think of Me with Kindness, one of the most immediately accessible and traditionally melodic tracks on Octopus, yet still unmistakably Gentle Giant. It features a beautiful, heartfelt melody sung by Kerry Minier, delivered with warmth and sincerity, supported by lush keyboard textures and a lyrical, warm bass line from Ray Schulman. Gary Green provides a particularly tasteful and melodic guitar solo that perfectly complements the song's reflective and slightly melancholic mood. This is the point of suspension and expectation. After navigating the demanding intricacies of tracks like Panurge or Knots, moments like Think of Me with Kindness offer profound beauty, emotional resonance, and melodic clarity. They serve as a reward for the attentive listener, suggesting the underlying tenderness and accessibility that exists within Gentle Giant's seemingly impenetrable facade, a moment of grace earned through prior effort. The conclusion of Octopus differed between its UK and US releases. The UK version, due to a specific lyrical contribution from Phil Schulman to the track Brother, included a medley called Excerpts from Octopus. However, the US release and most modern reissues feature the track River as the album closer. River is widely considered the stronger and more definitive conclusion. It is a dynamic and multi-sectional piece that effectively encapsulates the album's journey, traversing various moods and tempos. It opens with a powerful, almost funky bass line and driving rhythm, before moving through more reflective, harmonically rich passages and building to a dramatic, forceful climax. River showcases the band's command of dynamics, their ability to seamlessly integrate disparate musical ideas within a single composition, and their collective instrumental power at its peak. It leaves the listener both mentally stimulated and emotionally satisfied, having navigated a truly unique and challenging musical landscape. The recording process for Octopus, though not subject of wild rock and roll lore, was undoubtedly a demanding undertaking given the intricate nature of the music and the studio technology available in the early 1970s. Laying down these complex, multi-layered arrangements, often involving numerous overdubs of instruments like vibraphone, marimba, clavichord, various woodwinds, and horns alongside the core rock instruments, required meticulous planning and execution. The clarity and precision of the final recording, often produced by the band themselves with minimal external guidance, speaks volumes about their clear artistic vision and their technical discipline in the studio. They weren't just writing complex music. They were meticulously crafting the sonic space for it to exist, ensuring every interwoven part was audible and contributed to the overall structure without creating a muddy or chaotic soundscape. This attention to detail in production is a key element in making the album's complexity navigable, though still demanding. Despite the undeniable musical brilliance and technical achievement displayed on Octopus, the album's reception was marked by a significant paradox, particularly outside of a dedicated and growing cult following. Critically, within circles that valued musical innovation, complexity, and technical skill, Octopus was often met with high praise. Reviewers within publications focused on serious music or burgeoning progressive rock recognized the band's exceptional musicianship, compositional originality, and unique artistic vision. They lauded the intricate arrangements, the daring blend of styles, and the sheer skill involved. However, this praise was frequently tempered with acknowledgments of the music's demanding nature, its lack of immediate accessibility, and its potential to alienate listeners accustomed to more conventional rock forms. For a wider audience, Octopus was often perceived as simply too much, too dense, too complex, lacking the obvious hooks or sweeping melodies that made other prog bands palatable. This disparity between critical acclaim from a niche audience and limited mainstream popularity is a key element of the album's secret history. Gentle Giant's music, especially on Octopus, simply wasn't built for radio airplay or mass appeal. Their arrangements were inherently anti-single. Their lyrical themes often drew from literature or abstract concepts rather than universal emotions, or topical issues prevalent in mainstream rock. Their visual presentation, while artistic, didn't revolve around the charismatic frontman dynamic that propelled many successful bands of the era. Their refusal to compromise on their intricate musical language meant they occupied a unique, but often isolated position in the thriving 70s rock scene. While bands like Jethro Tull achieved massive success by blending complexity with folk, grounding and a theatrical persona, Gentle Giant's complexity was woven into the very fabric of their sound, making it a more challenging, though ultimately deeply rewarding, proposition for the listener. Comparing them again to Jethro Tull illuminates this point. Both bands shared an adventurous spirit, a willingness to incorporate diverse musical influences, folk for Tull, medieval, classical, jazz for GG, and a commitment to intellectual depth in their lyrics and concepts. However, Tull often retained a foundation in blues and folk structures that provided a degree of familiarity for listeners, while Gentle Giant frequently discarded these anchors entirely, building their music from pure counterpoint and complex, rhythmic interactions. Ian Anderson's charismatic stage presence and storytelling provided a clear focal point for Jethro Tull, whereas Gentle Giant presented more as a collective ensemble, where the music itself was the primary, almost overwhelming, personality. This made Gentle Giant less immediate, less easy to latch onto for someone expecting traditional song structures or rock band dynamics. Their secret history is thus one of profound influence within musical circles and deep devotion among a discerning cult following rather than one of chart dominance or arena sellouts. Octopus didn't produce hits or fill stadiums, but it became a touchstone for musicians and serious listeners who craved complexity and originality. So, the secret history of Octopus is less about hidden facts or untold dramas, and more about a magnificent artistic achievement that, by its very nature, remained largely secret to the mainstream. It was a secret shared among those who actively sought out music that challenged and rewarded them, a secret passed through enthusiastic word-of-mouth, fanzines, and burgeoning online communities. It solidified Gentle Giant's reputation, not as superstars, but as one of the most original, technically brilliant, and intellectually stimulating bands of the era, an influence that continues to resonate deeply within specific niches of technical and progressive music to this day. Octopus represents the peak of their early, most uncompromising period. A moment of perfect synergy between their complex compositional ideas and their collective performing ability. Before subsequent albums saw them, perhaps predictably, attempting to temper their complexity slightly in pursuit of broader appeal. An effort that, arguably, diluted some of their unique essence without significantly altering their commercial trajectory. Ultimately, engaging with Octopus is more than just listening to an album. It is a rewarding intellectual and emotional experience. It demands dedication, patience, and a willingness to embrace musical ideas that lie far outside the conventions of typical rock music. But for those willing to put in the effort, the rewards are immense. It is a masterclass in ensemble playing, compositional ingenuity, and musical originality that remains unparalleled in its specific fusion of counterpoint, diverse historical styles, and rock energy. It defies simple description and categorization, standing proudly outside the main currents of 70s rock while simultaneously drawing upon the vast ocean of music history. It is a powerful testament to the idea that popular music can achieve the intellectual rigor and structural complexity of classical composition without sacrificing dynamism, passion, or creative fire. It remains a benchmark for both technical proficiency and fearless artistic ambition in rock music, a towering achievement that continues to inspire awe, study, and deep fascination in those fortunate enough to discover and delve into its intricate depths. If you're a Jethro Tull fan, who appreciates intricate arrangements, diverse instrumentation, thought-provoking concepts, and music that demands and rewards your full attention, then Octopus by Gentle Giant is an essential next step on your musical journey. It might not share Tull's specific folk grounding or theatrical flair, but it shares that same core spirit of fearless musical exploration and a refusal to be confined by genre expectations. Don't go in expecting catchy anthems or straightforward verse-chorus structures. Do expect breathtaking musicianship, astonishing compositional complexity, and a listening experience unlike almost any other you've encountered. It's an album that reveals more layers and connections with each subsequent listen. A musical puzzle box that consistently rewards your curiosity and persistence. As we wrap up this exploration of the secret history and enduring legacy of Gentle Giant's Octopus, I want to once again encourage you to engage with this content. If you found this deep dive into one of progressive rock's most unique and challenging albums insightful and enjoyable, please take a moment to leave a like on the video. It genuinely helps spread the word to other listeners who might appreciate this kind of music. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribing to the Classic Prog channel ensures you won't miss future explorations of classic progressive rock albums and artists who dared to push the boundaries of what rock music could be. We are dedicated to uncovering the stories, analyzing the sounds, and understanding the significance of these often overlooked or misunderstood masterpieces. Dive into our growing library of videos and discover other bands and albums from this incredible era that might similarly expand your appreciation for the artistry and innovation of 70s progressive rock. Your support makes this channel possible and helps build a vibrant community of listeners who cherish musical depth, originality, and intellectual engagement. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the secret, wonderful history of Gentle Giant's Octopus. Now go forth and listen, truly,